The Dandenong Thunder for Melbourne City's first official pre-season hit-out. Of course, the Dandenong Thunder await Melbourne City, a team who, at the moment, are waiting to lead in to their A-League men's season. It's been a long few months, but Melbourne City football is finally back, even though there's no points to play for tonight. I'm sure that Patrick Kisnorbo and his charges will be looking for a decent outing tonight as they look to lead into official games in the coming weeks. On the call with you tonight is myself, Oliver Capil. Alongside me is the wonderful Matt McIndoe. Matt, how you doing?
Cold, very, very cold. It's an interesting evening here. The rain stayed away, but the wind chill factor I think gets it down to about -1. Ollie, it's a cold night.
It certainly is. It certainly is freezing. We do not blame you if you are watching this from the comfort and warmth of your own homes. But we are absolutely delighted to have your virtual company tonight for what should be a decent game of football. We'll take you through both lineups. Dandenong Thunder currently 8th in the NPL Men's Victoria, and we will start with them in goal. They have Newcastle Jets loanee Noah James, number 21. Number 3 is Harley Orr. Number 4, Thomas Maricic. Number 5, Mercer Mehmeti. 6 is Harry Ashcroft. 11 is Ali Suleimani. We'll get to that Suleimani name a little bit later on. 15 is Josh Meeker. 17 is Scott Lockhead. 18, Jack Simmons. 24 is Lachlan Bird. And 27 is Anthony Frangi. On the bench for the Thunder is number 1, Kane Runge. Number 2, Sevdim Ismaili. Number 16 is Mohamed Selamovsky. 20 is Dennis Yildiz. 39 is Dennis Osmani. 49 is Lavo Memedovsky. And 53 is Adrian Tahiri. And for Melbourne City, they start in goal with their custodian, number 1, Tom Glover. Number 2 is Scott Galloway. 3, Scott Jameson. 4, Nuno Reich. 10, Florian Berenguer. 22 is Curtis Good. 23 is Marco Tilio. 37 is Max Caputo. 38 is Jordan Boss. And 39 is Emin Jurakovic. On the bench for City, they've got number 18 is Jordan Hall. 30, Luke Oresti. 33, Matt Sutton. 34, here comes that Suleimani name again, Aryan Suleimani, the cousin of Ali. And you've also got 47 is Jordi Valadon. Number 5 is Sebastian Esposito. 6, Harry Politidis. 20, Matthew Grimaldi. And 48 is Justin Powell-Lilly. They were the last 4 were numbers that we had coming into tonight, but we've got those on the line now, which is good. As Kane Runge down below has given us a bit of support, which is nice. The Thunder backup goalkeeper, which is always good to see. A quick word as we've got a bit of movement from the tunnel. A bit of a shout out to both media teams at Melbourne City and the Dandenong Thunder for getting this stream live. We've got Dan, we've got Jack from Melbourne City, and Dylan Kachari was wanting a bit of a mention because he's done a fair bit of work as a Thunder personnel. So shout out to all 3, all wonderful people, all brilliant at the job, and they deserve a bit of a call for getting this one up.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to get the pre-season friendlies for the A-League sides streamed and make them available to fans. You know, it's not always easy to travel to different suburbs, different sections of the state. You know, obviously not local to a specific area in the A-League. So it's good to be out here in the southeast. It's good to have City playing against Dandy Thunder, and a nice local southeast side and a strong side. So this will be a really good game for both teams, and it'll give City a really good feel for where they're at ahead of the Australia Cup next week. Exciting to be out here and exciting to see the boys back in action, Ollie.
Absolutely it is, and of course, as we mentioned, this is an unofficial game. No points on the line, but of course there's a cup game coming up for Melbourne City, of course we're aware of. Hamilton Olympic on the 2nd of August in the Australia Cup. And the Dandenong Thunder, of course, are in season, so they'll be fine-tuned for this one. A win over the Melbourne Knights in the league on Friday night, a 2-1 win, courtesy of a late Dennis Yildiz penalty. Gave them a bit of confidence as the players have now arrived. They're out in full force from the tunnel. Of course, City in that now famous sky blue, Thunder in their red and black striped shirts, of course, paying homage to their Albanian roots.
Also, a nice shout out to the Melbourne City NPL side securing promotion over the weekend, which is fantastic to see. Obviously, one of the big things we want to see in Australian football is the the unification of all the different divisions, and getting the promotion relegation up when it's financially viable and getting that running, and getting the NPL sides to be up to as high as they can is super exciting. Looks like the teams are lining up with their back to us and back to the cameras, which is not a shock, Ollie. We've got to go to where the crowd is, my friend, and it looks like we're going to see a coin toss now with the boys starting to warm up. It's a bitterly cold evening, so you'd want to see a nice, good warm-up Some people might be familiar with your last name, Ollie. Do you want to expand on where that might be from and point him out?
Well, quite potentially. He's down there on the bench. He's giving us a smile. The old man, Nathan Peel, formerly of Burnley and Sheffield United as a player, and has worked with Thunder coach David Schick before. You can see him just having a quick chat to the City boss in Patrick Kiz-Norbo. So the two bosses having a bit of a natter before their teams go at it on the potentially not so quite hallowed turf of George Andrews, but it doesn't look in bad nick.
No, it's in great nick considering the weather. Real credit to Thunder and their team here to make sure this pitch is up and about. It's going to be a little bit bobbly, especially when you compare it to I guess the professional level pitches of Amy Park. But this is what you love to see. You want to see the best get onto pitches like this. You want to see how they react. It's good for football, and it's really good to again have A-League sides coming to the Burbs and playing a bit of high quality football, and we're going to see a fantastic game. And two high quality managers there in Patrick Kiz-Norbo, successful in his own right at both youth level, senior level now, and even on the A-League women's side. And Chicky, everyone knows Chicky. He's a bloody gun across the NPL and finds himself here, and he's doing a great job. So exciting evening here at George Andrews. Looks like we're about to get kick-off,
we are about to get underway. And we are now underway. Thunder in their red and black striped shirts from left to right. Melbourne City in their sky blue from right to left. As the Thunder captain, Harry Ashcroft, just watches that one over the line. It was under close attention from Jordan Boss, who had a league goal last season. It was an absolute belter against Sydney FC.
Scored in the Asian Cup as well, in his Asian Champions, I should say, in his first crack at it, and obviously Melbourne City in their first crack at it as a club. Something you can see straight away is almost Patrick Kiz-Norbo's trademark, I think, with this Melbourne City side, is that attacking midfielder in Florian Berenguer stepping up, but we see Thunder being the one to step forward first. Race loses the ball there. Sorry, Ollie, all yours.
They were looking to try and attack, which is good to see. They're not in their shell, the Thunder, which is good to see. Both of these sides having a right good go at it, which is absolutely quality as the ball goes out to play on this near side. Last out off Ali Suleimani. And so Melbourne City will have a throw.
See ref Jack Morgan getting his first little bit of advice from the sidelines there. All in good spirits, though. Good thumbs up from Chicky there towards him, and a bit of a smile from the referee.
Race up and over halfway. Here's Tilio on the Melbourne City right. In field towards Berenguer, who was fouled. The offence committed by Scott Lockhead, the former Oakley Cannons man. And there's a free kick here for City as they look to try and send this ball into the middle and perhaps get their first attack on goal.
I'd say that's what we're going to see a lot of, and I think that's one of the real things that stands out between the NPL level and the A-League level is just that quickness of feet, being able to move the ball and draw those fouls and create a dangerous opportunity. And you see Big Timber goes up for Melbourne City, and they'll be looking to score here nice and early and get the ball rolling in this pre-season friendly. You always want to win, doesn't matter what the game is.
This ball is shaped into the middle, high looping ball towards the front post. Well dealt with that by the Thunder, who not wavered by that set piece. Tom Glover well off his line to help sweep things up. Boss forward, that should be cut out and is. Forward ball by Harley-Orr. And across is Galloway, should be able to deal with that. Keeps it in and gives it short to Boss, who goes in board. Interesting ball, almost allowed Lockhead in. It was well done by Taras Gamulka to make sure that City kept the ball.
Yeah, Geordie Boss, number here, 38, is someone to keep an eye on. We saw a little bit again of him last season in the A-League and in the Champions League, but he's someone with very high raps and what is looking like a very, very high ceiling. He's comfortable at left back and also up on the wing. He's got some fantastic footwork, and you can see when he wants to go, he can, and he cuts in, almost gets a foul there, but just runs out of space. But he's one to watch for the future of Australian football.
Certainly is. Top player already, and a high ceiling of unexplored potential that he's going to explore, I should think, in the coming years, and he's certainly one to watch for City fans. Although he's not one that I'll need to lecture City fans on, they'll know all about him. But for those that are perhaps uninitiated, top player. As they find themselves a free kick, have City. Him and Jurakovic, son of Mehmet, of course, former Socceroo.
It's good to see it coming through, isn't it, Ollie? Good to see the talent coming through. Melbourne City here breaking. Tilio into the box with a nice touch, cut to the cross, and it's the first goal. There it is, Caputo, Max Caputo getting the ball off and running for Melbourne City here at George Andrews Reserve. What a run there by Tilio and what a finish by Caputo. Ollie, what did you think?
Top notch. That is the quality. That is the difference between A-League men's level and NPL men's Victoria. Right there and then. Barnstorming run from Tilio. Cut across. And it was a simple tap-in on a silver platter. Melbourne City off and away. And I don't think that that'll be the end of the goal scoring for the evening. But what a start for the team in Sky Blue.
But you know what? I think the Thunder really deserve some credit for the way they've come out to play. Like, you know, there's a couple heavy touches that's all that's opened that up. And, you know, Marco Tilio is a talent at this level, and he's looking to go to that next level. And, you know, Europe will be calling for him very soon. So, yeah, I think it's something that shows how Thunder are coming out to play. They're not wanting to just try and soak up the game and soak up the pressure. They want to come out and play their football and put their stamp on this game. And, you know, it opens you up for moments like that.
They certainly are playing their football. They've played some dazzling football throughout the league season so far. Just fizzed out wide left from Harley-Orr. Could be an early chance here for Mercer Mametis to shape this one in. Low ball looking for Frangi, and it's behind for the Dandenong Thunder corner. Nice move down the Thunder left as they'll look to make something work from a set piece of their own. It'll be Jack Simmons to take. Another one like Noah James, who's been on the books at the Newcastle Jets. So he's certainly got some quality. Being one of the Thunder's best so far this season. In his first season at the club. Holds one arm aloft and sends it into the middle. Headed away confidently by Scott Galloway. Here's Lockhead, who was on the score sheet on Friday night against the Melbourne Knights in that 2-1 win. Suleimani. Mika tight to this near side touchline, drives in field. And they weren't on the same page, the Thunder Cavalry. And Berenguer looks to work his way away. Pull back. Professional foul there by...
Because they were out. Florian Berenguer had multiple options, including Max Caputo. They're streaming in, and you know, even if you get the yellow card for that at this stage of the game, it's well worth taking it. Give your team every opportunity to get back, and just make sure you're careful for the rest of the game. Obviously, no card there, and as you would expect in a friendly.
Good looking over the top. That's not a bad idea, but the execution slightly off. I'm sure that Patrick Kisnobo won't mind the attempt, though, as it looks to play out from the back. So it works its way to Jamison. So flick it back for Jurakovic. Pass made Curtis Good work, but he worked it well. And this is nice. Champagne football from Melbourne City. First time ball into the middle. Nearly works out, but that one-touch football was just City football in microcosm there. Nice work to keep the ball in play and nearly unlocking the Thunder back line again.
Yeah, and it was the centre-back in Curtis Good coming up and taking it in front of his own bench and being able to lift the ball over the foot of the tackle and making sure the ball keeps moving forward and, again, keeping that pressure on the Thunder. You can see what Patrick wants from his team and what he expects from a standard. And this is a bit of a younger lineup for Melbourne City. You've still got the Socceroos stars coming back from their holiday and a few of the new signings slowly coming in. We haven't seen Talbot tonight, obviously. There's a lot to come into this side, and you know, these guys will be playing for minutes. They want to make sure they get it.
Certainly will, but they've got to focus on this game rather than the season ahead first, because the Thunder have come out to play. But they've dealt with that one of Melbourne City. Raish getting his way out of defence. Just marauding forward for a split second and returning to his post at centre half. Good. City just look to play keep ball here. It's been a good start for tonight's visitors.
Again, it's interesting to see the different styles of football, and you know, you can say it's a different levels, you can say it's a different philosophies, but you know, Dandy don't seem to want to press every single pass in that back. They're happy to let them move it around because they're comfortable that shape is going to stop that ball going from the centre backs and the full backs into the midfield, which is where City are dangerous. It's really interesting to see because you see at A-League level, every pass is challenged. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Looks played in behind again, Melbourne City. Jordan Boss down the left. Breaks inside the penalty area. As he looks to engineer a shooting chance. Deflected on Roots. And it's rolled in. Not the prettiest goal he'll ever score, but a goal nonetheless for Jordan Boss. And just like that, Melbourne City have doubled their lead. Really nice footwork down the left-hand side from Jordan Boss, who went it alone and found the back of the net. Noah James wrong-footed. City won't care. And then
2-0 to Melbourne City, nice and early, and again, nice confidence boost for the youngsters. They're looking to make their mark on this team and show what they've got and show the ability across the board. So there's a lot of eyes that are on this game, and obviously as it should be. So a lot of opportunity for these youngsters to show why they should be getting more minutes ahead of maybe some of the more fancy people in the squad.
And of course, we've mentioned a little bit that there are some senior players out, with Jamie McLaren and Matt Leckie perhaps headlining that list. But youngsters are in waiting as the Thunder look to move forward. Mika had the overlapping run of Suleimani, and the shot was tame and straight at Tom Glover. He hasn't really been called into action much so far in this game.
No, but it's good to see him being confident and coming out and sweeping. I think that's one criticism that could be levelled at Glover last year, was he seemed a bit iffy on when he wanted to come out and when he didn't. And he's shown a lot more confidence in that tonight so far, and his passing's looking more crisp. That's a lot what you want to see from a young keeper, developing year on year and keep adding to his arsenal to show why he should be going to a high level and why he should be pushing for that Socceroos berth that he initially was.
Here's Berenguer, has options left and right. Went right and found Marco Tilio. He looked to step his way through the Thunder defence and didn't find it that easy. Good bit of defending again by the Dandenong Thunder, who haven't let their colours drop and their tails fall after conceding 2 early ones.
So you see it here again, they're not looking to press every single ball. You have Frangi who's making that run across the top of the box, and he's the only one really putting the pressure on it. If they keep doing that type of ball that we just saw is what's going to open them up. Melbourne City looking to get the ball into the midfield in an attacking area and make the options. They're able to mop up these loose balls. You don't want to give them too much time.
Here's Jamison, record appearance holder for Melbourne City. What a player he's been for the club over the many years that he's been a Melbourne City player. 136 competitive appearances, which is quite a number. Been an Ailing men's journeyman before coming to the club, but he's been anything but since arriving.
Yeah, he's City through and through, and those of the people who are here might be lucky enough to score some of last season's kit. He put on his Instagram story. He's got a bit to give away, so I'm sure he'll be a popular man once he's finished with this game, and people will be going to see what kit they can get from him. I know I'll be going to visit my good mate Jamo. Hopefully he looks after me.
Yeah, classy on the pitch and classy off it as well, isn't he, Scott Jamison?
Absolutely. What Australian football needs, the type of people who are passionate about the game and passionate about the clubs that they're at and trying to go forward.
His team are in possession, and now Scott Jamison gives it away to his opposite number 3 in Harley Orr. As Mika makes a move forward down the Thunder right, whips in first time. Missed by Curtis Good and almost missed by Tom Glover. Frangi's eyes lit up there, trying to steal in, but the Australian Olympian just about getting the ball in his grasp.
Yeah, Mika's looking very good for Dandy Thunder. We'll come back to that though.
Boss shouts for offside. Fall on deaf ears as the goal scorer for Melbourne City checks all the way back to Jamison. First time ball out for Marco Tilio. As Galloway offers the overlap. Tilio ignoring that for the moment. Look to the outer side. First time ball across the face of goal. Thunder not quite dealt with it yet. Berenguer trying the flicks, broke back for Tilio, who limps away from that challenge. That's not something we want to see. Moving a little bit gingerly, Marco Tilio. There's a ball there to be won, and in the end he's come off slightly worse, which is not a good sign, but he's still continuing, which is good.
Yeah, it looks like they both just made contact with the ball at the same time, and it's that awful jarring feeling, but I'm sure he'll be fine as Geordie Boss commits a pretty cynical foul there on Josh Mika, who, before that breakaway, I just was touching on it. I think he's showing so much ability, and that's what you want to see from the NPL side, showing the ability of a player like him and effectively putting yourself in the shop window. there's a lot of clubs that'll be looking, and there'll be a lot of clubs that are watching him throughout the NPL season, but he's showing why he's obviously very highly rated. Like, you can see him here right now. He's like ghosted out the back, and he's straight away, just straight a little bit offside, but he's managed to find 30, 40 yards of space just by ghosting in outside of the midfield. So I think, if you're a Thunder fan, there's a lot to love about what you're seeing there, and for a young man, he's got a lot of potential to go further if he wants to.
Certainly a player who knows what it's like to play at this level. Josh Meeker, 25 years old only, so still a bit of room for him to grow as a footballer, and he has had a really good start to this game for the Dandenong Thunder. Here's Jack Simmons, looking to work his way past his opponent, but couldn't quite. High long ball, as Boss gives chase. Ali Soleimani back on terms. All clipping it down the line. Curtis Good should get there ahead of Meeker, and does, the former Newcastle United defender. That was methodically done from Melbourne City. So much composure and cool just to work it back to their shot stopper in Tom Glover. Weren't worried at all by that potential move forward for the Dandenong Thunder.
We talk about trademarks of Patrick Isnorbo's Melbourne City. That right there, that bit of play is exactly one where you have Jamison coming in as the left back, and he comes in as a midfielder. You see he's going to receive it right now, literally in the centre circle. He opens up the game, and he's able to find Geordie Boss here on the left side,
who takes it down in his stride. He got himself mixed up a little bit, but he's able to work it out and work it back for Jurakovic. It's out of play as Soleimani got a challenge in. But Geordie Boss has absolutely bossed the early exchanges here, if you'll pardon me. He's had a brilliant start to this game, and City fans will be hoping that continues. Inside the area again, here's Caputo looking for a second, and that shot was blocked en route. Another one whose confidence will be buoyed by the early start to this game. Already on the score sheet, of course, Max Caputo.
Yeah, and he's a really good young talent. We got to see him in the derby a couple of years ago against Victory when there was a lot of players out due to international duty, I think it was, off the top of my head. And he came on, I think it was as a 16-year-old at the time, and he showed a lot of ability, and that's what you want to see. And they're the stories you love to hear about the A-League, with these players staying with clubs and going through the academy and coming through to the senior lineup. It's something fantastic. And I think the best example of it is Connor Metcalf. He came to City as a 15-year-old, and now he's over in Germany at St. Pauli, all because he took his time. He didn't just rush at the first opportunity to go overseas, which it's such a good lesson for Australian young footballers. You don't need to jump at that first opportunity. Spend time developing your craft and play against men. Then you go over to the European leagues and you're able to stand out. You're not just used to dominating junior sides. And that's something I think Melbourne City's getting really good at. You see Tilio, the temptation would have been obviously to cash in and potentially sell him. If there was, with the interest from Europe that was reported over the off-season, but they've held true and they've made sure that we're developing the next generation. Geordie Boss, another example. He may not get as many minutes as he might get at another A-League club, but he's going to develop here into the system that he's been playing for years and years. Yeah,
we'll give Max a little bit more credit. It was 15 when he played in the Melbourne derby. He's still only 16, which seems crazy because it seems like he's been around the traps a little bit longer than that, but he is a talent and the ceiling is high. Make no mistake about that. Second youngest City player to feature for the club.
Behind Idris, if I remember correctly. Is that right? Idris was...
Well done.
Yeah, 15 and very little days, I think.
Well done. As Thunder look to work it over the top. That's not a bad ball. Looking for the former Melbourne City youngster in Mercy Mehmeti. He looks to whip it in. Nuno Reis clearing it out of play and across the byline for another Dandenong Thunder corner.
That's something that you're going to see from City. They get back very early and they compress that box. They make it very hard to get that cross in. What it looks like from Thunder is they're almost struggling with that transition play from the back, getting their mids up and making sure they're in and around the box to give extra options. At the moment, it feels very much like the front three are very isolated, and City have more than enough numbers and more than enough quality to make their life very hard.
Thunder look to make this work from the corner. Sent in. Headed high up into the air by Taras Gamulka. Bounces around the penalty area, and a free kick will go the way of the visitors. It's the bemusement of David Chick, who, if you don't watch too many NPL Men's Victoria games, he is one who gets quite animated quite often. Often gets himself a talking to, got himself booked on Friday night as well, so certainly doesn't surprise me that he's got another official in his sights tonight.
I got it back in there, to be honest. I could not make anything out. We are a long way away, though, so I'll back the referee, Jack Morgan, in there. But I would be very interested to know what it was called for. If Melbourne City break again.
You've always got to trust the officials. They've got a much better view than us or the coaches, so you trust the officials, certainly. Nice turn from Orr. Inboard for Simmons, and further on for Ashcroft.
It's interesting here in the opening stages of this game. It looks like Melbourne City has identified the left as the side they want to target, which isn't where you would expect necessarily. You have a talent like Marco Tilio, and you're not making him your focal point. You know, you're throwing it to Boss. That's a lot of faith in a young kid, and you know, attacking Suleimani, that says, you know, this is the side they want to use, and they've been able to get in behind a couple of times. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if that stays the tactic, as Thunder are here on the front foot, but they turn it over. And if Melbourne City can break here quickly, Gamulka plays it to the right side, looking for Tilio. But the short man is definitely not winning that ball, and there was not enough height on it.
It was a good run from Marco Tilio, but just couldn't quite be found. We know the pace that he has and the explosiveness that he has. He's shown that already tonight with that assist for the first goal. But just unable to be found there on that ball forward. Mercer Mehmeti. Laterally for Halior as we see the bobble. He's able to get over the top of it though. The former Oakley man, Halior. And Jordan Boss look to charge through Ali Suleimani. And there'll be a Thunder free kick after Halior was fouled.
Yeah, just to get back to, I guess, that point I was trying to make earlier about the PK style. You know, there's a lot of really interesting little quirks to the way Melbourne City play, you know, whether you see the right and left back tucking into the midfield. The one that I think surprises a lot of people is the amount of work your centre mid plays. You know, I think that's why we saw the loss of Adrian Luna last year was, you know, I think it surprised people with how much that affected the game style. You see Florian Berenger, at points, he's the furthest forward pressing player. He's your attacking mid, you don't expect that. You'd expect your striker to be up there. Those little ticks and the little quirks that he's going with, you know, I think is what set him apart for the last couple of years with Melbourne City. You know, they're a good chance if they can keep building on this and keep adding talent. It's a style that's sustainable.
Certainly is, and Florian Berenger, no spring chicken.
He was robbed of the Johnny Warren as well. I think that's a story for another day, though. That's an absolute robbery that he did not win that.
I'll let you have your rants and your raves. And
how you can be the best player for 3/4 of the season, do the exploits he has, and then you give it to a player that half their fan base wanted to drop at one point, kind of blows my mind, but that's not what we're here to discuss, is it?
It's been and gone. It's been and gone, and while that may not help Florian Berenger's cause, it is what it is, and he'll be looking to put that behind him. I'm sure he already has. Certainly the one that City fans were really, really bitter about when that was announced.
And will continue to be.
They made it further, of course, in the victory so in the season, so I'm sure that's the positive we'll take out of that. Here's Curtis Good on the halfway line.
Nothing better than the Premier's played, in my opinion. It's the trophy to win, and you know, it's good to see City being able to do that 2 years in a row.
Boss away from Ashcroft initially, but good bit of work from the former Finn Harps man to win the ball back for his side. It looks as though it would be easy for the City man. We're just going to skip away from his Thunder counterpart, but not to be.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to do a little bit too much. I think the early ball is on, and we see it here from Good. This is something that he plays a lot, this long ball forward. When he releases it nice and early, defences just don't know what to do, because you know, you have a ball-playing centre-back. They don't predict it. You know, there's been a couple of years of watching Curtis Good absolutely dominate the league with these balls, and people still don't read it. It absolutely blows my mind, but it's part of the reason why City get forward so often and so quickly.
I'm sure he'll be buoyed by his early goal, Jordan Boss, as well, so that's maybe why he's really trying to impress, because he'll have his confidence up after getting that goal earlier on in the piece. And there's a positive to that too, of course. As it's rolled in field, here's a chance for Gamulka. Sprays it over the top, but again, couldn't find the run of Marco Tilio.
Great vision, though. Again, another youngster that comes to this, you know, came to Melbourne City from Adelaide, a bit of a defensive mid, not really known for his attacking prowess. But we're seeing that early ball come in more and more and more. And, you know, again, it's another PK special, we'll call him. You know, it's something that he's trying to instill in the whole squad. And being able to play that ball over the top nice and quick, but direct as well, is something that I think is a really underrated skill, and again, something that's going to continue to open up defences at any level.
Of course, and when you've got a player like Marco Tilio, you've just got to use him, because there aren't too many players like Marco Tilio in the A-League men's, that's for certain.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's a special talent. Very lucky that he wanted to come down to Melbourne after spending his youth career in Sydney. Possibly could have spent more time there and tried to go further, but made the choice to come down for more opportunity, and he's been rewarded handsomely as we do see a player down.
It's a Thunder player down as they rush out to attend to him.
Yeah, it was definitely a heavy challenge from Nuno Reis coming in from the back. There was obviously nothing malicious in it, but just going up for the header and just a bit of a collision. And it looks like it's he's left a little bit in there, but hopefully whoever it is that's down, my glasses aren't good enough to tell you who that is. He'll get up and he'll be okay to continue.
I certainly hope so. I'm trying to work out who that is myself. But as soon as we have that, we'll bring it to you. We've got a bit of a break in place, so we can have a little bit of a recap of what we've seen so far. And in flashes, we've seen Melbourne City and Patrick Kisnorbo's men at their brilliant, brilliant best.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing a City side that's trying to attack fast and trying to play that early ball. And yes, again, something that is the way PK likes his team to play. They're releasing early, they're releasing direct, they're looking to play positive football. It's something that, again, has taken them to heights in the A-League, and it will continue to take them further and further at every opportunity. But you know what? I think the Thunder have actually looked really good so far. Obviously, 2 goals down makes it look worse than what it is, but we're seeing some great football for a side that's played a lot of games. Sitting was it 8th in the league at the moment?
Yeah, currently 8th.
Currently played a lot of games. There's only a few rounds left. We're seeing them come out here on a Tuesday evening, and they're putting in a really good account for themselves. It's just really been 1 or 2 moments that have split the team so far, and Tilio getting out wide and being able to cut the ball in, that's something that's going to happen at any level. A player with that much pace and that much ability and that much tactical awareness to be able to get in behind, it's hard to defend that. Then you add in playing multiple games, being in mid-season, you expect that. But we're seeing a lot of good here from the Thunder, and there's a lot to be really happy with about how they've started.
It's Josh Meeker who was down and now back up, which is good to see. Physios have left the field of play. I suppose it's good for Thunder fans that Josh Meeker is up and at 'em again, because he's certainly been one of the Thunder's shining lights so far in this game, as the ball forward from Noah James was unable to find Ali Suleimani, who's playing a straight at right back tonight, the cousin of Arion, who I'm sure we'll see later on in the piece. Raish, Berenguer, Galloway for Tilio. So many star-studded names on the team sheet tonight for Melbourne City. They're all getting themselves involved. They've lost the ball now. Have tonight's visitors, and away move the Dandenong Thunder. Switch of play, looking for Simmons. It'll be too heavy for him, and it'll go out of play for the Melbourne City goal kick.
Yeah, there is a lot of good names on the list, and again, a lot of players out, a lot of young stars that we're seeing getting an opportunity, and I think that's, again, something that I love about preseason. You get to see the next generation, and you're seeing a lot of players that we're going to be watching in the A-League for a long time to come, and a lot of players we're going to see, hopefully, continue to progress and continue to get into Europe and continue to push not just the A-League forward, but also the Socceroos. I think that's something that, as fans, we can all be guilty of. We only look at what our club is doing and what we're trying to achieve, but the better every club does at developing their youth and pushing them further forward in their careers, the better that is for the Socceroos, and ultimately our chances of qualifying for every World Cup as easily as possible and pushing forward in the World Cup. I think it shouldn't just be seen as a success to qualify anymore. We should now be trying to compete, get out of the group, do what we can.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do at the upcoming World Cup in our Australian summer. France, Denmark and Tunisia part of the Socceroos group, and Marco Tilio perhaps may well be involved.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few City players hoping to work their way in. I think Curtis Goody's another person who's got a good shout of getting picked up. I think there was that game that he could have been picked for that City ultimately denied the call up, which I think is fair enough when you've already got 6 players out through selection and then another 4 out with injury. I think it's fair enough to say no to someone who's not going to play, but I think Curtis Good is a centre-back that should be in the discussion for the World Cup, and ultimately could be one of the better options.
Lockhead gives it off. Mercy Mehmeti, back for Mika, looking to twist and turn and dazzle, cuts it across, and it's an own goal! Just as we talk up Curtis Good, he's put the ball in the back of his own net, and the Thunder bench is sent into absolute raptures. Deficit's halved, and the Thunder fans have got something to smile about down below on the far side. And it's 2-1. Curtis Good in the back of his own net. Thunder 1 at Melbourne City 2.
And that shows why, when your talented players attack the box and get the ball in there, there's every opportunity of a bounce going the way you want. And he's a very good player, Mika, and he's showing that. He's taking his opportunities, he's getting in there, and he's ultimately very positive. That's exactly what you want to see from these young players, taking it up to the A-League. The A-League powerhouse, I think it's fair to say, someone who's done it very well.
It's fair to say that the Thunder probably don't have too much more to play for in the league. I don't think they'll make the top 6, but that'll give them a real confidence boost. Even if the ball was diverted into his own net by a Melbourne City player, the fact that they've got on the score sheet against an A-League juggernaut, A-League men's juggernaut who has dominated the league over the years, will give them a massive, massive lift for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can imagine PK would be very fired up about that. A bit of PK fire about conceding a goal. He demands very high standards. We'll want to see his charges make sure they're keeping their composure. Just making sure they're comfortable and not throwing a foot at the ball in the box. You don't want to see him fired up. We'd rather see, the classic PK water, nice and calm, nice and composed, and making sure that we're just playing our football and not conceding those type of opportunities and goals.
So something we perhaps didn't expect to see, at least so early on. Thunder on the score sheet. Nuno Reis forward for Berenguer. Back with Galloway, looked to lift it over the top. Wasn't quite the right ball. It'll be interesting to see how City respond from that minor setback, if they can just take it in their stride and maybe grab another couple of goals, or whether the Thunder will try and override them in a sense.
I think Thunder, again, have shown a bit of ability, or not a bit of ability, sorry, a lot of ability, and have shown if they can get their structure to work and be a little bit more composed on the ball and not throw in the soft, loose passes that are more likely to bobble, they can take it to a side like City. They can get themselves into the box. They can get the opportunities off. It comes down to how they want to play, and I think they're showing a good account of themselves. It's moments like this. This is the difference between the two sides, with Florent Berenguer sliding it through for Jordy Boss. Jordy Boss has a shot, but a fantastic save there by James. Now they're trying to work their way out instead of pumping it long, and they've done well. He's probably earned a foul there, but he's coming out himself, plays the ball into the midfield, and that'll definitely be a foul, and Thunder's pressure is released.
It is. What a ball in behind, though, by the way. That's the quality of someone like Florent Berenguer. Absolutely, what a ball. Finding Jordy Boss, who could have added to his one that he's already had. He's had a barnstorming start to this game, and I think that will give City fans a lot to smile about. Pre-season friendlies, you're thinking probably more about the development than the result, perhaps. And the development of Jordan Boss has been on show tonight. Wonderful start for him, and something that not only Patrick Isnorbo, but the rest involved with Melbourne City will be hoping continues.
I'm sure he strategically picked this side to make sure he can hear every one of your compliments as well, mate. I think that's a strategic decision. We normally see the wingers switch sides throughout the half, but he's stayed here. He wants to make sure he hears every nice thing you say about him.
Well, he's deserving of those compliments because he started very well. Hopefully, unlike what happened with Curtis Good, continues, and we haven't just given him the old reverse hairdryer and the commentator's curse.
Oh, mate, speaking of hairdryer, I think Jamo's been out there, got a bit of a fresh trim, looking good. It's always fun to see players back for the first game and see what they're rolling with. Bit of a new haircut, new hair, new me. Is that the way it rocks?
Certainly interesting to see what happens after the break, to see how players have changed. Something that hasn't changed is this Melbourne City philosophy. Quick passing football, getting into their wingers who direct and looking for goal. Ashcroft. Melbourne City win it back, and Harry Ashcroft committing the foul. He's had some experience in the Australian top tier as well. If you'll remember back, some of the A-League men's diehards may remember him. Central Coast, back in the day.
Something Central Coast are fantastic at is giving the opportunities to these players and making sure that they're getting opportunities to play at the top level, as Florent Berenguer fouls again in the midfield. 34 minutes played here at George Andrews Reserve. 2-1 Melbourne City to the good currently.
Certainly are. Melbourne City have been really positive and raced away to a 2-0 lead. That was halved by a Curtis Good own goal. After goals from Max Caputo and Jordan Boss. That put City into a 2-0 lead and had them right in the box seat. Forward ball for Berenguer as he's back to goal. All the way back with Raish. Lateral ball for Good. Boss will keep it on. Jamison. Now with Gamulka. As City look to build this up from the back. Here's the switch. Here's the chance potentially. Jurakovic can't keep it alive. It got away from him. And it's a thunder throw on the way as a result.
He's looking very good so far. And you know, someone who always has the back of the youth players coming through and always has a bit of a story to tell is our good friend Tommy Sorensen. He always comes to our SEN coverage with a bit of fact giving about the young players and what he sees in them and gives really good insight into what he thinks their potential is. And there's a lot of players out here tonight that he has high raps on. I'm sure he'll be watching. I think he's back in Australia now. He is, because he was at the United game. So he's back in the country. I'm sure he'll be watching with interest, and he'll have some more stories to tell for us for all these youngsters that are coming through. I know Matty Benici and I, when we do the coverage with him, and really enjoy the conversations we have, especially when we do it over the nice pack of crisps that you get at the SEN studio.
Always the perks of working in those sorts of environments, but Sorensen, what a goalkeeper he was for Melbourne City and elsewhere, of course. Stint in England that was quite memorable with Stoke. And he's certainly given a lot to football in this country as well. Saw the way back with Lachlan Bird, the West Australian, who played a lot of this first part of the season, out of position at right back, but now filling in at centre half as a bit of rain comes down. Jurakovic back with Curtis Good. Jamison back with Tom Glover now. So he looks to be the quarterback, zipping it towards Marco Tilio, but again unable to lift it over the top. That's not a bad ball lifted over the top. Lockhead could be in here for the Thunder. Danced away from one and tucks it into the corner. What a brilliant bit of play that was by Scotty Lockhead. And all of a sudden, that 2-goal lead that Melbourne City had has gone, and parity has been restored.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic football. A really good finish under pressure there as well, with a couple of grabs at him coming from behind, and he was able to stay calm and composed. Slotted it past Tommy Glover. That's something he'll be talking about for a long time. He just put one past an Australian Olympian keeper. Fantastic football by Thunder, and that's what we're seeing from them. They're able to keep themselves in the game and keep making sure they're trying. They're trying to play their football. They're not just resorting into holding back and trying to soak up the pressure. They're taking it to Melbourne City, and that's what you want to see. They're a fantastic side, and they're showing that so far.
This wasn't in the script. I'm sure if Patrick Kisnorbo was directing matters, he wouldn't have had it go this way. City now have to respond. Here's Jordan Boss. Jurakovic. Now with Gamulka. Raish nicely, and now Boss. First touch too heavy. Bird there waiting. Kind ricochet for Gamulka, who looks to open things up. Here's Galloway. On for Tilio. Looks to go one-on-one at the fullback, and then has a go. It's over the top. Promising signs though, Marco Tilio. He's not really been in this game too much, but when you see him run at his defender and have a go looking to find the top left corner, it's always a positive.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something you get from someone with the ability that he has. He can cut in, he can look to make that shot. It's something that he's always got that option to do. But I think, what's going to be interesting now with this rain coming down, I think that's going to benefit the Thunder here. City are going to possibly struggle to play the slick football they want to play just simply because the pitch is going to continue to get heavier and heavier in those bobbles, something that maybe they aren't used to. And, that could play into the Thunder's hands and really open the opportunity up as we see them on the attack right now. Jamison having to backpedal. It's opening up here. They're trying to get into the box, looking to make it open. Jack Simmons plays it down the right-hand side to Suleimani. Suleimani with a great whip in, but no one there to attack it. Only as far as Jamison on the edge of the box. Plays back to Good. Good and Jamison combining, needing to clear now. Plays to the top of the box in very good composure. Gamulka, and he opens it up. Geordie Boss, not Geordie Boss, that is Jurakovic, who's got back and tries to play it into Geordie Boss, but well intercepted there by the Thunder.
They have looked really, really positive, have the Thunder.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're good value for their 2 goals. You could argue that an own goal is lucky, but I think they've earned it. They've got the ball into the box, they've made the most of their opportunities, and you're seeing now that second goal has given them a whole heap of confidence. And Melbourne City are starting to throw fouls that you don't normally see from the top sides. He's not as composed. 40 minutes gone here at George Andrews Reserve, 2-2. Really good first half of football, Ollie. It's there's a lot to enjoy about this as the rain is starting to team down here, just to make it a little bit colder.
Yeah, and for those not undercover here at George Andrews, I get that it's a bit unpleasant, but if they're Thunder fans, they might not mind. It's not a bad ball whipped in. They're from Lockhead, who tucked away that goal a little bit earlier on with some aplomb. Mika. 2 in sky blue, tight to him, and he bit off a little bit more than he could chew there. Did the Thunder man. Good.
I think everyone who's here in attendance that is standing in the rain is hoping some of that gear that Jamo is giving away at the end of the game is a nice big winter jacket or a nice dry jumper. I think he'll have a lot of customers coming up to him. All stock must go, apparently.
Yeah, he must do. And again, he'll be absolutely swarmed, so it'll be interesting to see how he deals with that. Boss does nicely, looking to roll it back for Jurakovic, who will get the ball. Now it's back with Tilio at the edge of the area. He lost control of it, and then in frustration, more than anything else, gave away the free kick. And the Thunder now should clear.
They've got the option here if they can play it quick, looking ahead for Frangie, but they go backwards. They had an opportunity there. I think they could have caught City napping, moving the ball across this back four. It's good to see, because if they can open it up, and as we get here now to the midfield, all of a sudden it's a whole different ball game. You have Jamison stepping forward every single chance he gets. Now there's a pressure in the midfield, but he's opened it up. All of a sudden they now have numbers out on this left-hand side.
They certainly do, and that's what they're looking to access. Whip ball in towards the back post. Could there be a chance for a third for the Thunder? Frangie flashes one well wide. He rushed it, did the former Melbourne Knights man, looking for the headlines, looking for the far corner, and unable to find either.
Good opportunity though, but you see Thunder moving the ball around, and they're going to keep opening City up, because City will keep stepping forward. Early in pre-season, you've got some people who maybe haven't played much together. Obviously, 1 week into pre-season, you wouldn't have played any games at all. This is the first competitive hit-out. But you're going to get that from youngsters. They're not going to be quite as familiar as the older heads are with the structure. So, if Thunder stick to their guns and keep opening that up and keep looking for those opportunities, it's going to come. Now it comes down to, do their strikers and do their front three have the quality to finish the opportunities and really put City under pressure? I think they're starting to get City to go back into their shell a little bit, and that's a massive achievement for an NPL side again, mid-season.
Certainly is. Good. On for Jurakovic. Now Jamison. And again, the Thunder have forced Melbourne City all the way back. Helped on for the former sporting man in Raish. Now with Berenguer via Galloway. Tilio forced to go back again. Resolute defending this by the Thunder. City at the moment just struggling to break the Thunder down, but I'm sure that's something that Patrick Kisnorbo will want to change going forward in the rest of this game. Ball over the top, looking for Jurakovic. He's left it for Jordan Boss. Options arriving in the middle. One of them was Berenguer and almost got through to him. But again, unable to get through for Melbourne City. Gamulka, brilliant ball in behind, rolled across towards Caputo. Ricocheted off his shin and straight into the path of Florian Berenguer. He will not score an easier goal than that for the rest of his career. So fortuitous, but a goal's a goal whatever way it comes. Florian Berenguer has scored many, and he's got another one. City back in front. 5-goal thriller so far in this first half. Dandenong Thunder 2, Melbourne City 3.
I think the highlight of that whole build-up, though, is Jurakovic having the presence of mind to know that he was offside. You know, you saw the lino start to get ready to flag, and he just stepped away and let Boss come through and take it. It's easy for a youngster getting their opportunity to want to come in, take that ball and try and make their mark, but he was wise enough to know potentially offside, has to get out the way and let it go, and that's what's opened this option up. You know, Geordie Boss maybe could have played it to Gamulka a little earlier to then have a shot, but we're able to see that ball played through for the overlapping fullback in Galloway, who can then cross it in. And yeah, unlucky there from Noah James, but yeah, Florian Berenguer will be the happy recipient of that goal.
As we tick towards half-time, 45 minutes almost up. Here are George Andrews. The Thunder will be happy with a lot of what they've seen, but I'm sure PK equally as so with certain things. 3 goals in the first half is never bad, especially when you're in front, and that is the half-time whistle. Really entertaining, exciting and enthralling first half here at George Andrews Reserve, and the NPL men's Victoria side in the Dandenong Thunder have really taken it to their A-League men's counterparts. 5 goals in the game, Melbourne City with the first 2 of them. Max Caputo got us underway after he tapped home from point-blank range. Geordie Boss got a little bit lucky, but he deserves it with the half that he's had. He made it 2-0, and then Dandenong Thunder were prompted into action, and they did so well. Curtis Good diverting the ball into the back of his own net to make it 2-1, and Scott Lockhead with a wonderful finish to restore parity to make it 2 apiece. And right before the break, the last meaningful attack of the first half led to Florian Berenguer tapping home after the ball fell to his feet thanks to a lucky ricochet off Thunder shot stopper Noah James. And Matt, quite an enjoyable half to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 goals in the first half of the first friendly of the first pre-season game. I think that's a lot to love, and I still think there'll be a little bit of PK Thunder coming out in that change room. There'll be a little bit of upset with conceding 2 goals and the manner of it. You know, they got opened up. I think there's a few players who maybe lost their assignments or misread the play, and that's ultimately cost them 2 goals. And PK being a perfectionist, I doubt we'll see him be happy with that. But there's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to be happy about. There's a lot of youngsters playing very good football. And if you're a City fan, you're enjoying seeing the structure start to come in even without those more senior stars. If you're a Thunder fan, God, you'd be happy about the press. You'd be happy about the way they're playing. It's a different press, as I touched on. They're not trying to control every ball. They're not trying to corral them into a corner across the back 4 every single time. But it's working. They're able to put continuous pressure, and again, they're getting their opportunities and they're taking them. And that's something that I think is massive for a team in a Thunder's position. And ultimately, it's a good insight into the Cup for what Melbourne City's going to face. That's what NPL sides need to do. They need to take their opportunities, and Melbourne City need to get better at not giving up those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure if we just move into a bit of a half-time show here while a few of the substitutes warm up out there for the Dandenong Thunder, a real positive for mine that I've sort of seen. Jordan Boss, for mine, has been absolutely unreal down this left-hand side for Melbourne City. Has done some interesting things, done some nice things, got himself on the score sheet with not the prettiest moment. I'm sure he's done some cleaner things that haven't quite as worked out the way that he would have liked, and the scrappy thing that he does gives him a goal. But at the end of the day, Patrick Kisnorbo, I'm sure, will be happy with his efforts. Yeah,
absolutely. I think a young player like Geordie Boss, though, the one thing you can't afford to do is, just because you've had a good start and you've got that, you got that goal, you had that little bit of a lucky break, you can't then go into what I think a lot of junior footballers do, which is go into me mode, where it's, trying to make their own opportunities, trying to take their own opportunities rather than continuing to play the passing, play the game. Because if you do that, you're not really creating the opportunities for everyone. And if you're not creating the opportunities for everyone, you're very easy to defend. So I think that's my only criticism of Geordie Boss, is that potentially he started to get a little bit predictable. Once people could see that he wanted to shoot, he wanted to score, and he wanted to take control, he's easier to corral. He's easier to take control of. And we talked about it. Tilio didn't get as much of the ball as you would expect, or as many touches, or create as many chances. And partially it's because the ball isn't getting moved out there often enough. So that's something you want to see more of. But something I'm really happy about is seeing Florent Berenguer stepping forward, making sure he's getting over that hamstring injury. They're notoriously tough to get over, hamstrings. Yeah. There's something that you'll constantly keep injuring, but he's looking good, and it was great to see a little celebration with the fans in the net, giving a little fist bump after scoring. He's very hard, really, really tough chance that he put away there at the end of the half. So, there's a lot to like. But again, I'm really impressed by what I'm seeing by the Thunder. I think that's the story of the first 45 minutes. An NPL side a little bit shell-shocked at the start. We saw 2 early goals, and instead of, potentially getting worried and thinking, I'm just going to make sure that we don't concede. I'm not going to, we're not going to have 4 goals. We're not going to cop that. They came out and they pressed. They played their football, and they rightfully got back into the game. Again, you can argue an own goal, all you want about whether it's deserved or not. But ultimately, they created that opportunity. They forced Curtis Good to do something that he didn't want to do, and had to make a challenge that he ultimately didn't want to make, and that's how it went in.
At the end of the day, with own goals, you've got to get yourselves in those positions too, which the Thunder did well. I really like the game of Mercer Mehmeti on that at fullback against Marco Tilio, because Tilio hasn't had breathing room at all, has he? And if we have a look at the senior players for Melbourne City, he's probably the one that you're expecting a little bit more from, but that's testament to the Thunder back line and the way that they've marshalled him.
Absolutely. I think, again, there's a lot of credit to be had by the way they're playing. I think City's making it a little bit easier in that front three with maybe just that little bit lack of experience or lack of that senior head to control it and make sure that the play doesn't start to become predictable. But again, you can only beat what's in front of you, and you can only defend what's in front of you. And from the Thunder perspective, they're doing their job. They're holding them up. They're playing nice football. They're creating it that it's there's been 2 tap-ins so far. It's a good ball down to the overlapping winger to be able to create that. That's hard to defend no matter what. But I think they're doing a fantastic job, and the longer the game stays like this, the more opportunity it gives them.
Certainly does. You're not wrong. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on your picture. In fact, I think you can. Just to the left of your screen, Marco Tilio is actually out there at half-time, just having a bit of a run, which I think just shows how little of a chance he's had to do that when the ball's been in play. You can just see him running across the pitch, which, given that he's played 45 minutes, you wouldn't usually see this.
Yeah, you'd normally see it after the game, so I'm pretty confident this will be him done for the night, and they want to get him showered and warm because it is a very cold evening. So, this is something, if you're ever sticking around inside stadiums, you'll see often the substitutes will go out and do some extra running. So I'd imagine that's what we're seeing here. He's done for his game involvement, but they still want a few more Ks in the legs before next week, and making sure that he's getting a full match simulation style workload into him. So there looks like we'll see at least one change. It'll be interesting to see who Paddy Kisnorbo throws on in the second half. It's a very young bench. It would be good to see who he throws out there and who he gives opportunities to.
Yeah, just to run through that bench, you've got Matt Sutton, of course, backup goalkeeper.
Guarantee it won't be him. It won't be Sutton playing on the wing.
Not for Tilio, no. But he's one option on the bench. If they want to swap Glover, they can do that. You've also got Jordan Hall, centre back. You don't think it's him. You've got Luca Resti, Arian Suleimani, Jordi Valadin, Sebastian Esposito, Harry Politidis, Justin Paylily, and Matthew Grimaldi. So out of the outfielders, because you're right, it won't be Sutton, going out to replace Marco Tilio, who do you reckon we'll see in the second half?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. It'll be interesting to see how they want to how the structure changes. There's opportunities to give people minutes in different positions. I'd love to see some more of Valadin, but he is more of a midfielder. So my heart says I actually don't know, to be honest. I can't pick PK's brain. I've learned this over the years. He's a hard man to predict and see what he's going to do. So I'm really not too sure. But I'd say Tilio looks pretty comfortably done. So we will definitely see at least one change at the half.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that's one thing that, if you are a City fan watching this, it's something you've got to watch for, the youngsters, because a fan of every club wants to see who the next wave is coming through. And obviously you mentioned before about NPL 3 promotion, which is a real positive. And some of those players might get the chance now to work under Kisnorbo in this friendly and, show what they're worth.
100%. And there's a lot of minutes on offer. That's something you want to see and something you want to keep rewarding the youngsters, keep making sure that they're getting their minutes and growing, because this is a league where we don't have the best youth structure. The Y League has its flaws, I think is fair to say. It's not enough games, it's not enough minutes for these young stars to really get the time to impress. So games like this are really important for youngsters to get out there and get their opportunity and get their minutes and show exactly why they deserve to get more time and more opportunity, even ahead of the superstars of the teams, like your Jamie McLarens and your Matt Leckies.
And just looking forward to the A-League men's season, I know it's a long, long while away. Looking forward to the cup game next week. How similar do you think this 11, the starting 11 that obviously started this evening, will be in terms of the cup game perhaps next week?
Cup game, I think, would be pretty similar. It really depends on how the visa players who have been signed come in. How Talbot's fitting in, how Jamie McLaren and Matt Leckie come back from their break. It's hard to predict in terms of what we're going to see next week. I'm optimistic that this will be a very similar lineup. I think that's something that wouldn't be a shock. And that's obviously part of the reason why you're going to put minutes into specific players, but. Ultimately, you've got to get those stars back in as soon as you can. Maybe not in the first round. You would back, the reigning A-League premiers to be able to get past that.
We will take a slight break now. Good to have a chat as a bit of a halftime show here on Melbourne City's YouTube channel. Pleasure to have your company. As always, we're back for the second half just after this. And welcome back to a very cold and wet George Andrews Reserve for this pre-season friendly between Melbourne City and the Dandenong Thunder. What a first half we have just witnessed here at the home of the Thunder. 5 goals in it, 3 of them going the way of City. And the other 2, of course, going the way of the hosting Dandenong Thunder tonight. 3-2 at the break, and a lot of changes on the way, we would think. Oliver Walker-Peel here with you alongside Matt McIndoe. And we had a bit of a chat at the break, Matt, about what we've seen, but what are we going to see in the second half, do we reckon?
Subs, and more subs.
Correct.
The beauty of pre-season friendlies, we already can see at least 2 changes there for City, with Luke Oresti coming on and Geordie Hall coming on. Florian Berenguer is coming off as well, so that'll mean 1 more in the midfield. There's a lot, and we'll get you there as the game starts to open up and people start to move around. It'll be easier. Oh no, Florian isn't coming off. He just kept his jacket on. Genius.
Keeping nice and warm, which is smart. I think also we're going to see Justin Powell-Lilly. I think I saw his number.
So we've got Valadon who's come on. And we've also got your boy, Suleimani, coming on.
Arian Suleimani. Well, he's not really my boy. It's these guys down below me. Of course, formerly of the Thunder, as we are away in this second half, we'll try and get abreast of all those changes. But, of course, a former Thunder youngster is Arian Suleimani. Well liked around these parts. He may not be as well liked if he sticks a ball in the back of the net. But
is he going to celebrate, do you reckon, or do you think he'll take it nice and easy?
He won't, but it would be unreal if he did. It would be unreal. Of course, Thunder from right to left, City from left to right, and Melbourne City have got themselves an early free kick. So Marco Tilio is off as we expected. And it looks like Oresti's gone onto the right, so that seems like a bit of a like for like.
He's a good man. He's over there in his shorts doing some fan photos. I can't think of a colder day to be doing some selfies. There's almost a turnover there from Gamulka trying to play it back, looking at the right-hand side. Galloway's got options in front of him. Cuts back inside, takes a little bit of touch, could potentially been a foul, but keeps the ball moving. Bounces it to Geordie Hall and Glover looking to open something up. You can see City here, a nice packed front line, again trying to create opportunities.
Yeah, so my apologies, it is Valadon who's come on at half-time.
So you've got Melbourne City here looking to turn and open the play up. Trying to get this ball moving again, but the back pass is a bit short and they've got to be very careful. You don't want to turn it over there. Galloway opens up on the right-hand side, has Oresti in front of him, bounces short, looking inside, trying to get to Gamulka, but Gamulka was well marshalled. Galloway opens up to Nuno Race. Nuno, if he can get to the left-hand side, there's plenty of options, and that's where he goes. The short one, though, there's Valadon, plays the ball down the left-hand side to the overlapping Jamison. Jamison plays forward to Boss. Boss plays back to Jamison, but again, trying to open it up, and there he is, Valadon, the really good youngster. Looking for options, has Florian Berenguer in the middle, who puts his hand up but can't get it to him. Jamison cuts in, he wants to have a shot. Ooh, I've never seen him more mature. Plays it backwards, and now Thunder are looking to attack.
They are. We'll bring you across all of the Melbourne City subs in the next break of play, which conveniently is now. There's 4 of them. On comes Jordan Hall. You've got Geordie Valadon, Arian Suleimani and Luke Oresti coming off. Tilio Caputo, Jurakovic and Curtis Good. And for the Dandenong Thunder, they've got changes too. Maker is one of those. So he's come on, the former South Melbourne youngster.
Looks like there's going to be a substitution. There's a bit of confusion.
No, it's not. It's a break. There was an injury in the middle of the ground. And we've just brought... There's no whistle. David Chick's just saying, well, play the ball out. We'll give it back to you. And I think Sani ZJ will now come on because of that. Jack Morgan, the man in the middle, is incensed. That was really strange. Florian Berenguer's having a word with David Chick and they're laughing it off. So off comes Lockhead. After all of that, on is Sani ZJ in his place. Remarkable stuff.
There was a few calls there from PK to try and help Chicky get that ball out to make sure they could sub, because he was definitely injured as he was, he got collected there and it looked like he hit his ankle as he was in that tackle. And PK's trying to help marshal the ball, but everyone just stopped, and maybe we'll blame it on, a bit of a language barrier. Florian Berenguer obviously being very French. Maybe that's what it was, but very confusing to watch.
Who knows, but I was just dumbfounded for a couple of seconds there, just working out what was going to happen, but we've reached a resolution and we're back underway. That's not something I've seen anywhere. A breakdown in communication while we're trying to get the ball out to play for an injury. As Arian Suleimani is caught offside. Dennis Yildiz is also on for the Thunder at the break. We've just seen Sani ZJ come on too. So Mercer Mehmeti's come off. Sevdim Ismaili has come on at right back, and he's called into action here. Chance down the Melbourne City right for Jordan Boss, who looks back for support. Ball in behind, looking for Valadan, couldn't quite find him. City looking to get the ball back inside the area. It's helped away. There's a free kick going the way of the Dandenong Thunder as Ali Suleimani's been fouled, and I gather, because Ali Suleimani's got the armband now for the Thunder, that Harry Ashcroft has come off as well.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. With no substitution board, it's very hard to keep on top of, but you're doing a great job here, Ollie. I've given up, and I'm just letting you run with the paper and trying to figure out who's on and who's off. Bit of a silly foul there, though, by Melbourne City. You don't need to throw a bit of body in there. You can just simply let him try to take the ball and you know, hustle him out. You've got the line to use as an extra defender. It's something that you see in a lot of sports like this, where you're able to hustle them to use the line, have it as an extra defender, and really well done there. Really good recovery there by the Thunder.
So, just to complete those changes, ZJ after half-time on for Lockhead. You've got Ashcroft off. Maker has come on. And Sevdim Ismaili also on as the third change. Coming off for him was Harley Orr. There we go.
We got there.
Hopefully you're slightly less confused as to what's going on. The Thunder are back with the ball. Still in arrears, but my word, they've made a good go of this. Well, they're back with Noah James. Both keepers still out there who started the game. Ball down the line. Well cut out. Scott Galloway. Gamulka helping it on. Here's Berenguer. Looking to roll it in behind. Suleimani had made a decent run, but in the end, Melbourne City just couldn't breach the Thunder back line.
Suleimani very eager to get in behind, but he's going a little bit too early. They're catching him offside every single time. You can see here right now, even in this play, the ball isn't going to him, but he was caught offside yet again. So that's something that he just needs to make sure he's paying attention to, because the Thunder players know him quite well, clearly. So he doesn't want to give them the easy out, and he wants to get that opportunity when it comes.
Hall, formerly of Green Gully at this level, 2 seasons there, so I dare say he'll know a little bit about the Thunder too.
A great example of someone who, played his youth football in the A-League academies and then ended up back in the NPL and able to make a name for himself. Matt Miller's another one. Look at what he's been able to do with his career. Step down from City, down to South Melbourne, and he was able to get back and play some very awesome football. And his career is going from strength to strength, and opportunity is going from strength to strength.
Certainly, it's a good avenue. Certainly, if there are A-League men's players unable to get the opportunity, NPL Men's Victoria, certainly an avenue where you can express yourself and get yourself back into the professional ranks after that. It's worked well with Hall. It's given away by Glover. Harley Orr stepping in. Nice 1-2 between him and Simmons. He'll whip it in again towards the front post. Breaks for Sani ZJ. Looks to work a yard. He does so well, Sani ZJ. And he would have rolled it in. Had a goal line clearance. Not taken place. Still Sani ZJ looking to make it work. Nuno Reish, take a bow.
Yeah, that's fantastic defending, but also very fantastic attack there. Sani VJ getting in and getting that shot off in a nice tight space, but he got around that first foot to make sure he could get the power on it. Nuno Reish was just able to be in the right place at the right time and save Glover's blushes there. Again, a loose pass coming out of the back, though. That's something that PK and the team will be wanting to work on. You don't want to be giving away those opportunities from your goalkeeper.
Tom Glover, slightly out of position. Sani ZJ, who isn't the most clinical of finishers in the NPL Men's Victoria, but almost super clinical there. He made that look so easy, but just couldn't quite find the finishing touch. Yield is inboard. Nice 1-2 between him and Sani ZJ. Rolled into the area, and that was tame from Frangi. He'd love that opportunity back. And that's given away poorly. ZJ once more. Frangi on the turn. Looking to get a shot away, and he was thwarted. As away move, Melbourne City. Suleimani looking to hold his run, and Jordan Boss ran into a brick wall.
Yeah, you could hear there was a call of, maybe need to foul, maybe use it, and he didn't. It was a fantastic tackle. He was able to open himself up. I think Boss was expecting the whistle there, and it's good to see it not given, because I think he ran into him more than the tackle took him down. So, well officiated by Jack Morgan there. I think ultimately he's had a pretty good game, except for that confusion with trying to get the ball out.
I don't even think that he knew what was going on, though. So it's hard to criticise him for that, because he was just as confused as everybody else. Strange moment, certainly.
Friendlies are good for many things, football and interesting moments.
Yeah, definitely so. Add that to the list of things that you weren't expecting to see when you woke up this morning.
Can you call peak A-League on something that happens in pre-season?
Well, peak NPL Victoria is also a thing. Peak NPL, peak A-Leagues. And you know what? The wonderful thing is we've got a blend of the two. So it's absolutely wonderful. Suleimani, this is Ali, of course, with his cousin now on for Melbourne City. Nice switch of play looking for Yildiz, who has a bit of space in which to operate. Looks to roll it back for Thomas Maricic, who has had quite a good season for the Dandenong Thunder. Absolute man-mountain is Maricic, and he's been one of the Thunder's best this season. Maker, whose brother Thorne, of course, a former NBA basketballer. Yildiz looking to set Sunny ZJ free, and he almost was free of Jordan Hall, but the Thunderman adjudged to have fouled the City defender, and the frustrations emanating from the Dandenong Thunder bench, and chiefly by David Chick.
Who would have thought? That's unlike,
not
unlike
me.
Chicky.
No way. David Chick getting incensed at the refereeing decision? Really?
But it's good to see the Thunder opening the play up like that. They're able to stretch City, and obviously City does have a bit of a younger side out here, but it's still a very impressive side. So they should be able to control this game and make sure that they're holding the ball and not getting opened up like that. It's something that PK will be wanting to see that change. He doesn't want to open up this game and give Thunder a sniff. Like, it is a preseason friendly, but everyone knows there's nothing friendly about friendlies. Everyone wants to win, and it matters. It doesn't give you points, but it matters. You don't want to lose a game like this. So, PK will be out there. He'll be wanting to see the process improve, but he'll also be looking for that result.
I'm sure a City win would give their fans lots of smile about, as they almost played themselves into trouble there. The side in sky blue, and they haven't been able to fully break free of it. Thunder have got the ball back, lifted over the top for ZJ, who will keep it alive. Left edge of the penalty area, sent it in! Missed Frangie at the front post. Had he got any contact, he would have at least made Tom Glover work. Not to be. The Thunder want this, They are not rolling over and letting City have it all their own way. That's a poor cross-field ball, though. Forward moves Jordan Boss, who's got options ahead of the ball. Looking to roll it off of Berenguer, who never got there. He's done well, though, as Boss. Now in central position, Florian Berenguer. Gamulka calling for calm. Now Aresti. Edge of the area, looking to curl it towards the far corner. Almost broke inside the box of Valadon. Or just better safe than sorry to nod it behind.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some tackles flying in there, definitely some desperation. Again, you can see both sides want this. No one's lying down, no one's shirking any responsibility. This is what you want to see in football. This is what you want to see between the two different competitions. Yes, it's not for points, but you want to see what both teams have to offer. And so far, Thunder's come out the better in this second half, and they're looking good. Melbourne City now looking to try and take advantage of this corner. I think it's only their first of the night, maybe their second. You can see Geordie Hall getting his shirt tugged a little bit, but I'm sure we'll see it in the box at the other end as well. Short corner, it goes to the edge of the box, looking to whip it in. Takes the sidestep and can't get the cross in. Now looking for the second chance opportunity, but Thunder, with their press, have forced them back. Melbourne City are all the way back in the centre circle with Galloway. Galloway goes back down the left-hand side to the captain, Jamison. Jamison looking for options, has Florian Berenguer making the run, but plays Valadon. Valadon plays it back to Jamison, who didn't know much about it, and there's a bit of bobble in there, but unable to finish the chance.
Great dummy from Florian Berenguer there, by the way, as Suleimani has put Raish under pressure and looks to get past the Portuguese defender, but he did so well to get back on terms, showing all his experience and classes. Melbourne City are readying a change.
It'd be a tough night to be a substitute, wouldn't it? You sit down, you'd get cold very quickly, and then you've got to get out there and get up to a frenetic pace. This game's being played at a nice tempo. Both teams are fighting for it. It's not the night I'd want to be a substitute for sure.
But if you're a substitute for Melbourne City, then you're involved with one of the biggest clubs in the country. There could be a lot worse than that.
We're on a city broadcast, mate. You can call it the biggest club in the country. That's all that matters. Biggest and the best.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough.
Play to your crowd, Ollie. That's the lesson you'll learn.
Yeah. For a split second, I'd let that fact slip by me. So you know what? We'll go with it. The biggest club in the country. And certainly their recent honours have certainly been able to enforce that too.
That's what we like.
Just
get a bit of one-eyedness in you.
Trying to remove all reasonable doubt, but of course on a biased broadcast there is room to extend that as the ball was just ahead of Aresti. I'm getting brainwashed by Matt McAdoo, and fair enough.
Mate, someone's got to do it. You've got beautiful kids, you got beautiful people. What more can you want from your club? It's fantastic, good community feel. If you haven't got your membership, now's your time to get on board. Melbourne City membership's on sale now with the A-League season fixture due out very shortly, so we'll be able to know how many home games we're going to get. But I'd be heading to the website and getting your membership in now. It's some of the best value for money for entertainment across the Australian summer, Ollie.
Absolutely. Whenever I've been down to Amy Park and seen City in action, it's always been a great experience. So get yourself down there, get yourself involved. Here's Jamison, who will be a part of many of their games this season, you'd think. Now with Galloway continuing his run and looking to try and get around Aresti, and then almost got nutmegged by Sunny ZJ, but the Thunderman couldn't get around him. Looks like Harry Politides, the Carl Jenkinson imposter, is coming on wearing his old number 6. Aresti inboard. Here's Jamison, who I thought was going to size it up then and have a pop, but he didn't. More reserved from the veteran. He had a right to shoot then, surely.
He's an interesting cat because he spends a lot of time having pops, having shots, and it's fantastic to see. And then occasionally he goes back into his shell. He didn't score for, I think it was 90 games in a row, and then he scored 3 in technically 2, but I'm giving him the third, 3 in like 3 weeks. So just need to see him continue to back himself, have a shot, and have a bit of a pop. Definitely so. As we've got Politides and Mohamed Selamovsky, but affectionately known as Gary. So we can roll with that, I think. Gary Selamovsky around these parts. Do you reckon he bowls a good offie?
I don't reckon so. That's a heavy touch, almost allowing Berenguer in. But Thunder have been able to make it work. Yield is on for Simmons. Oh, nice work to breeze by Kabulka and then Aresti, but the crossfield ball put that all to waste. Here's Florian Berenguer. Aresti giving him an option. Board for Gamulka. Raish to the left. Here's Jamison again, playing the 1-2. Boss again. Back with Jamison looking for the ball. Infield towards Aresti, who's got there. Now Berenguer inside the area. Giving it short to Galloway. Cross goal. First time. And what an acrobatic save from Noah James. How in the world has that one stayed out? That was quite remarkable save to deny Geordie Valadon what would have been a very, very nice goal.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really well-worked opportunity. We see here Jamison coming off, getting a well-earned break, the Melbourne City skipper. Yeah, really fantastic opportunity there for Valadon, and he's showing his talent and his ability. Like he's a future superstar, and a chance like that is something you'd expect him to finish. But what a save by Noah James. That's fantastic goalkeeping.
Of course, on the books, the Jets still spending this season on loan at the Thunder, and his shot stopping has been heralded by many, and he's put it on show there. Thunder got to do a bit of defending. Berenguer whipping this one in high up towards the back stick. Trying to get in front of his man Politides. The ball's cleared away. ZJ who's been really positive since coming on. He's one of those players that at his best definitely offers something, and he's been at his best tonight. Bird finding Maricic as City and Florian Berenguer more particularly continue the press. Yildiz with the switch. That was under hit. Paladin looking for and finding Jordan Boss. Look to slide it in behind. That's not a bad ball, and there could be a chance. Nice bit of defending to keep it away from Harry Politidis. It's hard to play for a City throw in a really good position for them.
Yeah, City really trying to take control again. I think it's starting to fall back into their favour now. It looks like the Thunder's attacks are coming a bit more sporadic, but a bit more dangerous in saying that. They're getting in a bit further and going for that longer ball, which is, a good option against a tiring team and almost, it feels harsh to say it, but a disjointed team just in the sense that there's been so many changes. So, Thunder have still got a lot to play for here, and City would want a goal soon just to be able to kill it off and make sure that, they don't leave here without the win. You don't want to be doing that in your first preseason game.
Berenguer looking to try and work something to make sure that they can get their fourth goal of the game and probably see off the Dandenong Thunder, but they've done well with the Thunder. Can they defend this? Looks like the answer to that question is yes. I'm sure that they'll be happy with this, no matter what the result is. The home side. Melbourne City still looking to break the door down again. Here's Politidis. Paladin, another substitute. Berenguer centrally, looking right for Aresti. Looks to cut in field, couldn't quite work a shot away.
The overlap there from Melbourne City just didn't quite come in time. Florian Berenguer was a little slow. He thought that shot was going to come nice and early from Aresti, but ended up opening up, just not getting there in time, which opened up the real vulnerability to have that ball taken away from him.
Certainly did, as the Dandenong Thunder are preparing a change. Scott Jamieson is putting a coat on that he may well have to give away in a few minutes.
Nah, that's one of this season's ones. I think that's safe.
He's going to have his shop window open in a bit, so I wouldn't be too surprised if City fans are flocking to him at full time.
I'm hoping for a bit of bit of boot action, just park somewhere, open the boot up, bit of wheeling and dealing, giving it all away. I think we're all excited to watch Scotty Jamo, the salesman.
He's certainly a good footballer. Now, can he do it when trying to give some things off? I'm sure he's given a lot away, hasn't he? He's given presents to plenty of attackers across the years and now to fans as well. How good to see.
He's given us trophies, though. That's what it's all about. He's a City man through and through these days, which is something fantastic to see. A really, really awesome captain to have here at City, and delivered a lot of success. He spends a lot of time with the fans, and again, Scotty Jamieson is one of those people that you want around football forever. He's so passionate about the game and about what it means to people and what it needs to mean to people and what it needs to be successful. So, long may it continue. Scotty Jamo is someone that the more we can get him involved, and when he's finished playing eventually, I hope he goes into an APL role where he's actually able to enforce some of the change that he wants to make. He's very, very outspoken in what he wants to do and what he wants to achieve, and I'm hoping that we'll see him in a position where he can make those positive changes.
Yeah, certainly, as Harley Orr comes off, and Festim Slimanovsky is to come on, the number 13 for the Thunder. Has found league action very hard to come by this season. Well, now he's on, looking to try and make something work. And his first involvement was to put a pass into touch, misdirected.
We've all been there, haven't we? First touch is always the hardest, but well done there again. Thunder really taking the game to City and trying to get on top. They're opening up opportunities and really making something of it. Again, we don't want to see a game where the A-League side just tries to take over. And again, Thunder are able to take this away in a nice attacking area.
Here's Ali Suleimani to whip it in. Ball was too short. Maker miscontrolling initially, but Going back to find the ball. Maricic to lift it over the Thunder back line. Sandy CJ looking to put Galloway under pressure, and well done from the senior Melbourne City defender just to worry off the more youthful Dandenong Thunder attacker.
You can see there, Chicky's not happy with him. He wants him to put the work in a little bit earlier because he possibly could have got there. It's a heavy pitch. The ball is going to stop him. You can see where it's getting chopped up as the game goes on. This will be an interesting pitch to play on this weekend, but Melbourne City looking to launch an attack forward. Valadon looking to make opportunities. Plays it out wide. That's Geordie Boss with the overlap. Looking to whip it in, but there's not really much tall timber there. They've had to go backwards. Gamulka looks to open the door again. Back down the left side to Boss. Boss plays forward. Looking to open the ball again, but he has to cut back inside. Gamulka needs to open the ball, open his body, and finds it. Finds Florian Berenguer, opens up to Galloway. Galloway has the option to shoot here. You can see he's got a decent angle. Plays it out to Aresti, the smart player. He's not hot-blooded like me, but the ball ends up being lost on the edge of the 18-yard box. Melbourne City, they do win it back, though, at about halfway, and it comes to that man Galloway again, looking to launch forward, but the Thunder have stepped up and pressed really nicely. You can see they've changed their press a bit in this half, and they're starting to try and press every single ball. It's really forcing City to try and have to work a lot harder to get that ball to their midfielders or even just bypass them.
Crossfield ball looking for Aresti. He was behind him initially, but he's gone to get there, and he looks to play in Florian Berenguer. Even he wasn't going to get there, as we've got another Thunder change. Lavo Mamedovski set to come on, and I think Kane Ronge we'll see in a little bit as well, the backup Thunder keeper, who looks to be getting ready to come on for Noah James. But Anthony Frangi's race is run, and Mamedovski is up top. Looks like he's playing on the left, and we've got ZJ who's been pushed more centrally. At least more centrally than where he was playing. He now gets an involvement. Oh, that was very nicely done from Lavo Mamedovski, skipping away from his opponent in Gamulka. Here he is, Lavo, looking to whip it in towards the back post. Hash clearance, and that should be a free kick, surely, to Jordan Boss. Advantage is given by referee Jack Morgan. And that one will be pulled back. Ali Soleimani, the offender, and Kane Ronge set to come on.
This is something that's, I think, fantastic to see again about Geordie Boss and the versatility that he has. You know, we saw him play on the wing and look really, really attacking and really promising, but he still has the ability to drop back into where, you know, rumoured was his preferred position, which is to play left back. He's tucked in and he hasn't missed a beat. You know, he's straight in. It's something that you like to see from these young players. You don't want to be pigeonholed in just one position.
Goalkeeper for goalkeeper switch. Kane Ronge with 6 appearances in the league this season. Had a nice little run of a few games in succession. Noah James starting the season, and looks like he'll be ending it too, and a little spell by Kane in the middle, but he's on, and we'll have to see what he can do and if he'll have any shots to save.
A fantastic stint there by Noah James. You know, shows why he's on the Newcastle Jets book. He showed a lot of talent and a lot of ability, and something that you want to see as the ball is whipped in here. Thunder have got an opportunity. Melbourne City are able to clear it with Geordie Hall. He puts it out for touch. But yeah, just to finish on that thought, that shows why the loan system works, and it's something that we need to keep growing in Australian football. Give him the opportunity to come down here, face shots, and again, in a preseason friendly, face arguably one of the best sides in the A-League. Gives him an opportunity to show what he's got, and then can launch his career again.
Does the rule not apply for you when you can be overly biased and say it is the best attack in the country, or is that only for me to apply?
It's fun watching you squirm when I made you do it, but I think it is easy to say that, you know, you could argue that Western United are one of the best sides, being able to win the grand final, but for me, I rate the league as the highest award, and that's why I would say arguably one of the best. But I know I'll get shredded if I say definitely.
Yeah,
I leave shredding to you.
So you're selling me down the river then?
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Fair enough. Here's Dennis Yildiz, who gets past Aresti. Another couple of changes on the way, it looks like, with Grimaldi set to come on, and Paolilli will come on as well in a double switch. Maricic looking for Lachlan Bird. Who in turn look for Ali Soleimani. The ball never got there. And away move Melbourne City again. Berenguer. Shifting it out right for Aresti. The overlap may be on the way. Galloway provides it. First time ball towards the back post. It's just ahead of Arion Soleimani, who would love a goal and be the hometown hero against his hometown club.
Does that make you the hometown enemy?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? As Gamulka, left back for Berenguer. Here's Aresti, who's been enterprising and almost found the far corner.
Tried to curl that one. He's hit it with a bit of power, and that's ultimately what's cost him a little bit of curl. Good effort, though. Melbourne City looking to push forward. They've got the control of the game back. A couple more subs coming up.
So let's see who's coming off. We've got
Jordy
Grimaldi
Boss.
and also Pau Lilly as mentioned.
Jordy Boss and Florian Berenguer coming off.
You could see that coming from a mile off Florian Berenguer because he's been out there for a long while and he's done well, got himself a goal. But you wouldn't have expected him to play a full 90.
Mate, he tricked me at half-time when I saw him running out with the jacket. He's a smart man. I would have kept that on for as long as I could. It's almost the same colour as the kid. He probably would have got away with it, to be fair.
It would have left Jack Morgan in even more confusion than he already was when the ball wasn't played out. But story for another day. Memedovski keeping it away from a few. Yildiz looking for Sani ZJ. Soleimani was also trying to make the run in behind. Memedovski low ball, and that's meat and drink for Tom Glover. As Ismaili I'll have the chance to nip in. How to play for a Thunder throw, and they won't be giving up this game just yet. Of course, they've got the league to worry about. I don't think they'll have finals on top of that. There's an extra reward, but they've still got to see out the season. 3 games left for them. St Albans, Hume, and then Green Gully. His first time. Memedovski has it taken away from him. Smart by Jordan Hall, who was then fouled.
It's a very theatrical drop, though, wasn't it? He not quite sure how he tangled himself up that much.
Was he looking for a late trip to the Commonwealth Games, is he?
Oh, I'd love a trip to Europe at the moment, wouldn't you? I'd be going over and doing whatever sport they asked me to do. Imagine how much more warmer that would be here than here. Wow, it's that cold I can't even say my words. As Melbourne City look to launch forward and warm themselves up with a celebration.
Unable to do so on that foray forward. As the Thunder go all the way back to Runge. Now with Bird. The Thunder just making a more youthful Melbourne City now work that a bit harder. And obviously the main presser, Florian Berenguer, now departed from the field of play. So it's left to others to do that job. Memedovski. He loses it to Galloway and then won it back well.
What a fantastic tackle. That's such a really good second effort. You know, he could have very easily given up the ghost there and let Galloway go and just gone, oh, he beat me to it. But he went back and immediately won that ball back. And that's what you want to see. You know, that's the fight. That's what you want to see from a young player and someone who obviously wants to get more minutes. He's trying to impress Chicky, and he picked the right spot to do it, 2 metres in front of his manager.
Brilliant. So if you want to put yourself in the shop window, do it right in front of your gaffer. That might help out. So PK still urging Melbourne City to work and keep working and get as much out of this game as they possibly can. And that's exactly what they'll try and do. Bird. Now Maker. Who will want to throw?
Because you can hear the mentality of the Thunder there. Chicky's calling out to his side saying, we need a goal. You know, they're not sitting here trying to put the cue in the rack. They want this goal. They want to get that first goal and then continue on and take the win. That's what you want to see. Force City to play. It's a youthful side with a few more senior players out there. You know, Geordie Hall, Scott Galloway, Nuno Race. You know, a very good defensive 3, but ultimately it's a younger side. Take your opportunity. Get out there in front of them and show what you've got.
That's what they'll try and do. Taken down. The Thunder again just look to keep the ball. Runge gives it away sloppily. David Chick with hands on his head. Here's Arion Suleimani, and the pass wasn't what the doctor ordered. Looks like Mercer Mehmeti will be coming back on after being withdrawn. Breaks kindly for Ali Suleimani. The Thunder then gave the ball away. Inside his own defensive half, Pat Lilly. The Thunder urge to push up. Can Melbourne City thread the needle? Good sliding challenge from Sevdim Ismaili, which should allow a break in play to make the change. Looks as though Tom Maricic is the one coming off, and Mercer Mehmeti for his second stint back out there.
Nothing better than a bit of interchange, is there? You know, it's one of the highlights I think of Sunday League football is watching the people who don't quite have the tank go out there, do their business, get off, get a rest, go back again. Obviously, a little bit of a different scenario here today, but a bit of fun. Oh, 80 minutes gone here. Still 10 minutes of football and 10 minutes for Thunder to try and score a goal and potentially even pinch a win here. I think they've been very good value for what they've put out there, and there's no reason why they couldn't potentially do this against a City side that is on the youthful side of the spectrum. So it'll be big 10 minutes to go.
Again, both benches called into action in a moment. As it looks though the Thunder will make a change, City likewise.
Not quite sure how, but it's gotten colder.
A night up the top here at George Andrews will do that. It will progressively get colder and colder, so it feels like your hands are going to freeze. Throw-in taken short. So the Thunder substitute coming on is Adrian Tyree for his first look at senior action for the Dandenong Thunder.
It's one of the fantastic things about friendlies, isn't it? Being able to throw young kids on and give them an opportunity to get in amongst the senior squad and show what they can do. And what better team to do it against than an A-League side? Show your ability.
You've got Esposito coming on for Melbourne City. Sebastian Esposito.
He's done well there if he got his shinies, but he's got them on just in time. No one will ever know if we didn't talk about it.
No, got to get it done off camera so no one knows. That's what he tried to do.
Absolute shift from Gamulka and Nuno Reis coming off. They've both shown really good composure and a lot of really good efforts. Nuno Reis has that goal line clearance as well to his name, keeping the results for City at this stage. But both of those players can hold their heads up high and say they played a really fantastic game.
Jordan Delidis coming on, by the way, just to finish that one off, the number 44. Esposito losing out. And then the Thunder winning the throw. So it'll be interesting to see what these youthful players make of this opportunity, if they can grab the ball by the horns and force their way into Patrick Kisnorbo's plans. That's not a bad ball. Looking for the run of Tyeri, who couldn't get there. ZJ then tried to get onto the end of the ball. Sided charge from behind. Grimaldi, the offender. And that in a competitive game, that's certainly a yellow card. Even in a friendly, that's bordering on a yellow.
Chicky definitely thought so.
I dare say, if that was a competitive league game, Chicky would have been
on the pitch.
Definitely more animated, I should say. Definitely would have been screaming and baying for blood almost.
It's chaos in the box. The ball's whipped in ahead. Oh, it goes wide. Melbourne City get the goal kick. That was an opportunity, though. Thunder could have put that one away and got themselves 5 to 8 minutes to try and do something with this and try and pinch it. But Melbourne City survive a good scare there.
I think they take scores level at full time, though. They take a draw. Although even if they can't get that, I'm sure they'll be happy with their efforts tonight.
Look at that press from Thunder. That's fantastic.
Playing it forward, and they're almost allowed away, and they might still be going over in the area with Ismaili. The Thunder won a spot kick, and you'd think that it was a league game. It looked as though Seth Ismaili was clipped. Although perhaps he'd made more of it than the Thunder bench thought. That's the way he made it look as if he'd been absolutely scythed in the penalty area. The referee, Jack Morgan, taking a different view. And then a dive had occurred inside the penalty area. Another one looking to try and join Sam Fricker on the plane to Birmingham, perhaps. But he won't get the chance.
He did the very clever thing there. You've always got to limp the first couple steps after you go down like that. You can't just jog normally. Limp the first couple and then start your normal jog. He's an experienced effort in that, and he's gotten away with one there, I think, for both players. You know, there was definitely a foot thrown in, but I think a lot more was made of that.
So another Thunder change. Lachlan Bird has just come off. Dennis Osmani has come on for the Thunder, another one who hasn't played in the league so far this season. Good press this from the Thunder with 5 minutes to go in the 90. As they look to try and get an equaliser. Switch of play against Maker, who blocked it en route. Now Sebastian Esposito. Valadon looking left as the Cavalry arrive in sky blue. Delidis. Now with Paul Lilly, looking right for Oresti, and a nice sliding bit of work from Dennis Yildiz. See it out to play for a throw. If we look forward past this game, of course, Melbourne City have got their Australia Cup clash coming up against Hamilton Olympic on the 2nd of August. The Thunder on Saturday night, 7 p.m. kickoff against St Albans here.
And if you're a South East local, get on down. This has been fantastic football. You know, if you don't have a side in the NPL, or even if you do, just get down and support local football. I think there's nothing better than a night at the NPL and having a watch and getting to enjoy some different food that you don't get at Amy Park.
Arrest looking for the switch. I will say the Chivapis here are wonderful. That's all I'll say on the matter. Esposito giving it off. Grimaldi, in fact that's Paul Lilly, giving it to Oresti. Nice run from Paul Lilly, who kept going, looking to cut it back and able to find an option. Wearing blue in the middle, well cleared away by the team in red and black.
Well read by Galloway there to be able to stick out a foot and stop that long ball from getting in behind. Would have been a very tight foot race there if he was in behind, and we don't want to see, or if you're a City fan, you don't want to see any more opportunities now. You just want to see the game get killed off here.
And we're almost at that point. Whereas if anything is going to happen for the Thunder, it's got to happen now. Galloway rolling it across. Hall giving it back to Tom Glover. Looks as though he's going to play the full game. Doesn't look like Matt Sutton is going to see any action. Oh, helter-skelter moment in the back for Melbourne City. Broke nicely for Adrian Tyree, whose shot was easy for Glover to save, and he spared the blushes of his teammates because they got themselves into a real spot of bother. Good switch of play. More composers from City. Here's Oresti, looking to kill the game off. Looking to roll it into the path of Justin Paolilli, who was nowhere near it. He was in a different postcode there, the City 48.
Yeah, the idea was nice. Execution, not quite there. I think a little bit too heavy. He possibly could have just taken that in stride once it sat for him nicely. The keeper was out of position. It would have been a fair bit of effort to get in the 90 or 88th minute or whatever it is. Worth a pop, in my opinion. But then again, I'll say shoot from anywhere. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the lotto. Have a shot.
Paolilli again, looking back for Galloway.
Yeah, it's only a bad shot until it's a good shot. That's how it works.
ZJ looking forward. The run of Tyree, he just couldn't quite get there. Delidis doing well to get there first. As Melbourne City take a bit of the sting out of it. Long ball over the top. Rolled out wide again for Oresti. Good work by Jordi Valadon, who kept going but wasn't found. Pat Lilly muscled off it. Maker looking to get a foot in. He couldn't keep the ball for his team. Again, Pat Lilly looking for Aresti. He goes back with Galloway. This is nice game management. I think this is something that Patrick Isnoble wants. In a game that doesn't mean a lot, you want to practice for the games that do, because they'll be in this situation quite a lot, looking to see games out, and I think that's something that will please the City gaffer.
Something that I think will also please him is seeing how his NPL charges are going. You know, obviously NPL 3 is where the boys are currently. They did just secure promotion, but they're playing what you would argue is still a very strong NPL 1 side, even in this last 20 minutes or so. So seeing how these youngsters react to that and how they step up to the level. A lot of people talk about how the NPL side has to step up to the A-Leagues level at the start of the game. Now these youngsters have to step up to a level they're not used to, and so far they're passing the tests with a few little blemishes, but mostly they've kept it intact, and obviously they haven't conceded.
Aresti, Galloway kept going. Aresti went inside instead, and he couldn't find any real space as he lost the ball.
We've just ticked into the 90 here, by the way. Ollie, do you reckon we'll see any last-minute heroics from any of the Thunder players?
We'll have to see. Jack Morgan, I'm not sure how much time he will allow, but it's all on him, and he won't allow any more time. Melbourne City have got the job done in this pre-season friendly. George Andrews Reserve, they were made to work for it. Patrick Isnobo's men. Goals from Max Caputo, Jordan Boss and Florent Berenguer, all in the first half. All of City's contributions on the score sheet. Dandenong Thunder, decent effort from them though. An own goal from Curtis Good and a brilliant finish by Scott Lockhead, giving them the goals and giving their fans something to shout about. But in the end, City, professional as ever, have got the job done and have given Patrick Kisnorbo a fair bit of confidence heading into their Australia Cup clash next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a really fantastic account for themselves by the Dandenong Thunder. They played some really nice football. They created opportunities and they forced a very strong City side back. There was periods where you had your first choice side at the start of the game, being forced to move the ball in ways they don't necessarily want to do and being able to have to force opportunities. But from a City perspective, we got to see a lot of youngsters. We got to see a lot of kids playing really good football. There's a lot to be really excited about here, and obviously for City, there's a lot of guys to come back into the squad. A lot of senior players. You've got all the Socceroos. You've got a few more people who can play more minutes as the time goes on. So, overall, I think a really fantastic account of themselves by the Dandenong Thunder, especially considering they're still within their normal season. Really fantastic football here.
And I think it's a positive and a good marker for City to have, because again, they're playing a side that are more match fit than them at the moment. City certainly have got more quality. There's no doubt about that, but a really good marker for Melbourne City and a positive night for them, getting the result and also getting some minutes into the legs of their younger players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what you want. Nice professional game. Nice play by both teams. Exactly what you want. Everyone here got treated to a fantastic bit of football and fantastic food. So if you're in the area, I'd definitely get down for Dandy Thunder's game on Sunday. Yeah, and you don't usually need to urge Thunder fans to do that. Saturday night, their game is 7 o'clock kickoff against St Albans. So if you're free, not doing much, you may as well pop down here. But that is where we will leave you on the Melbourne City streams on the YouTube and the Facebook. We do thank you for joining us. Matt McIndoe and Oliver Walker-Peel, myself, on the calls. We thank also the back crew and all of the Melbourne City media team for getting the game up alongside the Thunder contributions that were made as well. We'll give Dan and Jack and Dylan Kochari their moment in the sun as we round off. As we go into the night, we'll give them their moments in the sun. But we do thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon for another City game, be that Australia Cup or in the A-League men's competition. Bye for now. Towards Caputo, ricocheted off his shin and straight into the path of Florent Berenguer. He will not score an easier goal than that for the rest of his career. So fortuitous, but a goal with Hall. It's given away by Glover. Harlior stepping in. Nice 1-2 between him and Simmons. He'll whip it in again towards the front post. Breaks for Sunny ZJ. Looks to work a yard. He does so well, Sunny ZJ. And he would have rolled it in had a goal line clearance not taken place.
Still Sunny ZJ looking to make it back. Lifted over the top for ZJ, who will keep it alive. Left edge of the penalty area, sent it in. Missed from edge of the area, looking to curl it towards the far corner. Almost broke inside the box of Valadon. Or just better safe than sorry. Jamison looking for the ball. Infield towards Aresti, who's got there. Now Berenguer inside the area. Giving it short to Galloway, across goal. First time, and what an acrobatic save from Noah James. How in the world has that one stayed out? Shifting it out right for Aresti. The overlap may be on the way. Galloway provides it. First time ball towards the back post. It's just ahead of Arion Suleimani, who would love a goal. It's an interesting one, isn't it? As Gamulka, left back for Berenguer. Here's Aresti, who's been enterprising and almost found the far corner.
Tried to.
Although even if they can't get that, I'm sure they'll be happy with their efforts tonight.
Look at that
Glover.
press from Thunder. That's fantastic.
Playing it forward, and they're almost allowed away, and they might still be going over in the area with his melee. The Thunder won a spot kick, and you'd think that it was a league game.